This is VSiN By The Books on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Oh, it's been a wild ride through these NBA and NHL playoffs, and boy, we got more fun tonight. Welcome in a Thursday edition of VSiN By The Books. Jensen Lewis alongside Keith Irizarry in for Dave Ross. Super Dave back next week on Monday, enjoying some well-deserved vacation. It has been just remarkable throughout this week to cover not only basketball, hockey, just the craziness that has ensued with some of these finishes, some of the comebacks. All of that we will get to. But first and foremost, I welcome in my partner in crime today. Keith, great to be with you yesterday. Had been a minute since we'd worked together. A lot of fun off the rip. We are getting a lot of comments. For those of you watching on the VSiN Watch at VSiN.com, the crew really likes our getup today. And our producer, Brandon, absolutely loves our pocket squares. So we did have to give a little bit of love here for the outfit. We didn't plan this, people. It just happened this way.
No.
Greatness abounds, buddy. Great to be back with you.
Yeah, I think sometimes when two people are fashionistas like you and myself, like it's just ingrained in us to look beautiful, feel beautiful, and then you'll have a beautiful show. So that's how I live.
One big, beautiful show. Yes, indeed. Can't wait for it. It is a loaded show today, by the way. Coming up here in just about 15 minutes, Greg Hoops Peterson. He will join us, talk all things baseball. Loaded slate yesterday for day baseball, a bit more abbreviated today. But Greg coming off probably another half marathon run overnight. We'll have plenty of picks, plenty of actionable ways to attack this Major League Baseball slate. Of course, VP of Operations for Circa, Mike Paul, and the Maestro will be in. He'll have his pressing three as he does every week. Cody Decker getting a little 2-for-1 this week. He jumps back on with us, course co-host of Beadle and Decker. He'll join us in the 9 o'clock hour. And the great one, Jonathan Davis, all things NHL postseason. Again, he was texting me last night with some great plays, and I know he'll have some to share for us today. However, it is craziness upon craziness, and that begins our highlights and headlines.
Help your bottom line with today's highlights and headlines.
All right, I didn't think it could happen again, Keith. Here we are. And I didn't think it could happen to the same team. In back-to-back games, we have more history, and we're still just in the second round of the NBA playoffs. But the Knicks and the Celtics, yet again, another instant classic yesterday. A 20-point deficit for the New York Knicks? Nah, no big deal. New York storms back to stun the Celtics, a 91-90 finish. They were down as much as 12 headed into the final quarter. But that furious fourth was enough for the Knicks, and another big defensive stop from Mikal Bridges at the end allows them to seal the victory over Jason Tatum and the Celtics. Boston now the first team in the stat tracking history to blow 20-point leads in consecutive playoff games. Keith, you're in New York. Make it make sense. It's euphoria. They're probably selling finals tickets left, right, and center. What do you make of what we saw last night?
All right, so let me paint a picture for you. So I am watching the game on my phone. All right, I'm at a basketball practice for one of my boys. A bunch of the dads were all watching on the phone, and it's the third quarter. Knicks go down by 20 points. One of the dads is like, "I can't believe this is really we're gonna get blown out," and a lot of wheeze when you're talking about the Knicks when you're in New York. A lot of dads, with the wheeze because everyone plays for the team apparently. But anyway, I look at that guy. His name's Mike. I'm like, Mike, you're down by 20. This is exactly where the Knicks want them. In hindsight, I wish I would have jumped on logged off the phone for a second on the video and placed a wager on the Knicks on the money line. Because, that would have been awesome. I did not, unfortunately. But I said it a little bit in jest. But it's funny because as the game was starting to turn, when it got to 12, I really started believing a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I legitimately was like, this looks eerily similar. So as you're watching along and the Knicks end up winning, yes, I ended up turning on some of the local New York stations on my car ride home. These Knicks fans are crazy. They stamp it. We're going to the NBA finals. Who needs Jason Tatum? I'll take Bridges any day. Like, I heard these takes on the New York radio stations. It was bonkers.
I think the other part that was bonkers, if you're looking at the prop market, and I think Paulie Howard had posted this on social media, Josh Hart to lead all scorers last night was 100-1. So if you had pizza money on that, as much as I don't think anyone in their right mind would have looked to that angle, considering what Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns would be as options 1 and 2, remarkable to see what the Knicks were able to pull off. Now, what does this mean from a betting perspective? Well, at least for Game 3, headed back to the Garden on Saturday, Celtics open as a 5-point favorite, total of 205. But this is the biggest storyline, I think, so far. The Knicks are up 2-0. The Celtics are still favored to win the series, $1.20. The Knicks even money to close this thing out and win 2 of the next 4. I don't know if I could have expected that number to be posted. But, I mean, if you're going to shoot 100 threes in 2 games and that's how you're going to go down in the fourth quarter on your home floor, Keith, I guess that's one way to go. But, my goodness, this Celtics team needs to make some serious adjustments, especially for their late-game execution.
They feel like they are, live by the gun and live by the sword, die by the sword kind of thing. Like, that's the Celtics. This is what we do. And it's almost like, J.J. Redick in the previous round with the L.A. Lakers, like, I'm going to be stubborn and I'm going to do what I think is right. And I feel like the Celtics are stubborn and they're going to play the game that they think they need to play. With all that being said, the Celtics are, like, if we do air quotes, the Celtics are the better team, right? The Celtics were a better team all year for a reason. They swept the Knicks this year. The Knicks struggled against all the good teams. Didn't win against the Cavs. Didn't win against the Celtics. Didn't win against the Thunder, right? The Knicks can't play well early on in games. Like, Cinderella, the shoe is going to like, all of this stuff is going to happen. I don't know, man. Knicks look good. They look like they know how to win when it matters. They've got a lot of the right pieces. And if you go back to what they did in the offseason, so we can go back 2 seasons, Jensen. You bring in OG Anunoby. He was supposed to be a guy that could help you against a team like the Celtics. Then you go trade away like every draft pick imaginable for Mikal Bridges, and all those memes with the blank those picks have been hilarious for Mikal Bridges. And he is now turning things into, I'm a Celtics stopper, right? I'm not ready to say the Knicks are going to win this series, but I'm not ready to say they're not.
Going to be unbelievable to see what happens Saturday afternoon at Madison Square Garden. Tip time there just a bit after 3:30 Eastern. Again, the Celtics 5-point favorites. Total of 205 as that one will get underway on Saturday afternoon. Okay, so I did a little Vanderbilt math last night. And because we have now had, at least after the Knicks and Celtics game, we still had yet to find a home team to win a game here in the second round of the postseason. Well, if you were to have the foresight, or at least, I guess, the courage, shall I say, to roll over your winnings from the money line of the Pacers defeating the Cavs in Game 1 all the way back on Sunday night, you roll that over for every underdog henceforth, you are up. Get ready, Keith. You are up a cool $219,000 if you rolled over the winnings from Game 1 that the Pacers won through the Knicks, through the Nuggets, through the Pacers, through the Warriors, and then for the Knicks in Game 2. It's just mind-boggling, and I know no one out there did it because then there would be signs, right? But that's just kind of the hysterical nature of where this NBA postseason had been, again, before that Nuggets and Thunder game, which we'll jump into in a moment. But, I mean, was it as nuts for you to kind of see where the underdog train had been going throughout these first handful of days of this second round?
It's weird, right? Like, it's just weird. It's an odd NBA playoffs right now. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. And I don't know. Like in March Madness, we all, again, I'll bring back the word Cinderella that I said a few minutes ago. We like Cinderella, but I don't think we want Cinderella to win the championship. We like Cinderella to win a round or two, and then you get a little bit chalky and everything is good. In the NBA playoffs, and we can go to the Stanley Cup playoffs as well, I think you like to see an upset. I don't know if you want to see multiple upsets. So I think the cream will ultimately rise to the top. like you saw with the Thunder against the Nuggets, the Celtics just might be flawed. That's the thing. Listen, again, the Celtics are probably still going to win at least a game or two in New York, and then we're going to be talking differently, a couple of days from now. But I think they are flawed, and I think the Knicks were specifically built to play against the Celtics, and it's now showing in the postseason.
It certainly is. You mentioned the Thunder, rocking chair winner for those of you that, again, I could understand the trepidation of laying double digits for any of these 1 or 2 seeds, but the Thunder dispatch of the Nuggets and pretty handily. How about 87 points for the Thunder in the first half? It felt like they were angry on all fronts of what happened to them in game 1. They go out and win, walking away 149-106. Spread never in doubt. The over never in doubt there, as the over hits easily 229.5, the total there. Not surprised here for you, Keith, that the Thunder bounced back the way that they did at home?
No, you and I talked about this yesterday morning. We felt like the Thunder were going to come out guns a-blazing, and they did. Shea was fantastic. The rest of the team was really good. And the Thunder did everything they needed to do to limit Nikola Jokic. It was as simple as that.
It will be a fascinating game 3. That series all knotted up. It will get underway tomorrow. Thunder 4.5-point road favorites, total of 233.5 as they will head to the Mile High City. We'll give you an update. Obviously, just one game in the association tonight. Warriors and Timberwolves. T-Wolves 10.5-point favorites, 201 the total. But we now have confirmation of what will happen with Steph Curry. He will not be available for game 2. We'll give you the update on how long he will be out for the Warriors and what that means for that series moving forward. Greg Peterson going to join us next. All things MLB when you come back on VSiN By The Books.
You're tuned in to VSiN By The Books right here on VSiN.
Making our way towards the weekend, and great to have you with us on VSiN By The Books. Jensen Lewis, Keith Irizarry in for Dave Ross, and always a great pleasure on Thursdays, Keith, to welcome a great friend of the show, one of our awesome colleagues here. I don't know when he sleeps, but when he does, it's just a wink, because he is a man about town, literally and figuratively. He is none other than Greg Peterson. He joined us on the Progressive Guest Line. Give him a follow on social media at @GUnit_81. GP, another half marathon of the books, just another Thursday morning for you. Buddy, great to always have you. What's going on? How was last night?
Oh, things were tremendous. We got the half marathon started a little bit late. We had a little bit of date night because, of course, we have to treat the lady to a nice dinner out and everything like that. We have to do our good man duties over here. But that said, got that in from about 1 to 3:30, took a shower, and now here we are set for some tremendous Thursday baseball. Let's go.
I love it, buddy. That is never a doubt. Never a doubt for you, my friend.
Yes. I'm going to explain because with regards to the running, the reason why I do it every day is that before I got to Las Vegas, actually used to work out in Portland, Oregon. I, quite frankly, didn't have enough money for the bus fare and everything like that. So I would actually jog to and from work out of necessity, and keeps me humble, just reminding myself of where my roots are and how I've gotten here.
It's the best. I mean, is there a better story than that? I don't know if there is here at 7:15 Eastern on a Thursday morning. Okay, for people looking at the abbreviated MLB slate today, let's start with the Twin Cities. We do have a pitching change. It was originally supposed to be Joe Ryan. He has been scratched. Bailey Ober is going to get the start today. Your handicap there for a Twins team that it feels like they're trending in the right direction. Pitching has been strong for them. How do you look at this matchup here this afternoon?
Absolutely. And we've seen this total actually tick down because the opener was an 8.5. Right now we're sitting at an 8. Now I feel like most books are still listing Joe Ryan out there. So you want to note that you should be able to get a little bit of a better price because this opened up at -150. Now a lot of places have this in that neighborhood about a -160 or so. Bailey Ober is not an upgrade over Joe Ryan. So if you're looking to bet the Twins, bet this a little bit later on and you should be able to get a discount. If you could get below a -150, I'd be looking at the money line. I personally am going to be looking at a little bit more plus money at the run line. Even the plus 135s I'm seeing out there right now, I think is pretty rock solid. But a big reason why I'm in on the overs, for one, Bailey Ober is going to be taking over on a little bit more short rest, a little bit more of a wonky spot. And for two, Dean Kramer just has not been good. north of a 5.5 ERA for the Baltimore Orioles, 5.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's walking a ton of guys. He's given up a lot of hard contact, and finally, you have Royce Lewis back in the fold for the Minnesota Twins, because it feels like he and Byron Buxton, one of those guys, it feels like it's in their contract that one of those two guys needs to be on the injured list, sometimes both at both times. That's just an added bonus if you get that, but at least one of those guys needs to be on the injured list. Both of those guys actually healthy for this game, so a blue moon, and that really helps out the Twins offense. We've been seeing them come to light ever since then, so I like the over and that Twins run line.
And it's a shame because both of those guys, when they're healthy, are some of the best hitters that we can see. Tigers and the Rockies, what's your action in this game? Or these games?
Yep, right now we've got two games, and right now the lone one that is really listed is that first game. You're going to be seeing Casey Mize going against Kyle Freeland. The other game is relatively off the board, but I do not find myself betting on the Rockies in game number 2 either, because they are currently 6-29, and they're on pace for the worst record in baseball history, which is really hard to believe. But that said, in terms of this one, it's a run line of the Detroit Tigers right now. We're seeing them more around -110, probably going to be elevated -115, -120. If you get in a little bit late, you're still getting relatively good value, because Kyle Freeland is just allowing contact upon contact, getting fewer than 7 strikeouts per 9 innings against a Tigers team that on the road this year, they have been number 2 in the American League in terms of runs per game, about 5.2 to 5.3 runs per game away from home. And for Casey Mize, he's doing for a little bit of regression himself. He's got a fielding independent that's about 1.5 higher than his ERA, not getting a lot of strikeouts, has given up a little bit of the deep ball. And Colorado, as we know, they're better with their offense when they're at home rather than away from home. So a little bit puzzling that we found this total going down to a 9.5. We saw that last night's total go well over the total. So I'm backing on the over. Felt like this should have been a little bit above a 10. And I'm in on that Tigers run line.
Yeah, I'm with you, Greg. Rarely do we see a total at this point in the season when we start to get into May where Coors Field has anything hung under a 10. So I'm with you. I feel like a bit of a discount there. 12 runs in 5 innings combined yesterday. So yeah, game 1, Casey Mize, Kyle Freeland, as you mentioned. No starter yet for the Tigers announced just yet for game 2. Tanner Gordon will go there as well. All right. Sad news yesterday as we saw Hunter Green had to walk off the mound. Apparent injury to him and the Reds ace yesterday. A guy that is off to such a phenomenal start. But the Reds end up finding a way to get past the Braves. Yesterday, they hold on to win 4-3. Right back at it with a scintillating starting pitching matchup. Nick Lodolo will go for the Reds. Spencer Schwellenbach will go for the Braves. When I looked at this, I thought, okay, this is a great one for Daily Diamond later in the show. I'm glad we have you because you have a fascinating handicap for this game. Tell our viewers and our listeners why you like the over in this contest tonight.
What I've noticed with Nick Lodolo is that his swing and miss stuff and his strikeouts are way down this year. Like, this was a guy in his first 3 years at the major league level. He was getting 9.5 plus strikeouts per 9 innings. He's down below 8 strikeouts per 9 innings. And I do think that affects him a little bit here. It is a guy, Nick Lodolo, that has been able to really work on the walks. But for the Atlanta Braves, all of a sudden the offense has been so much better. And this, frankly, has been an Atlanta Braves team that's been vastly different when they've been at home rather than away from home. And you mentioned with Hunter Green going out after 3 innings. That means that the Cincinnati Reds bullpen, which has been solid this year. I'm not going to call them monsters of Midway or anything like that, but this is a top 12 team in terms of bullpen ERA. They're now very much taxed. And Spencer Schwellenbach has not looked like himself this far in the last few starts. Last 4 starts, 3+ runs allowed in every one of them. And you've got a Cincinnati Reds team that they've been averaging well over 5 runs per game away from home. So many people think Reds and they think of Great American Small Park, them being able to hit for much more average and much more power at home rather than on the road. They're averaging actually more runs per game away from home rather than at home. So a total of 7.5. This is starting to tick up to 8. So there are apparently some people that agree with me on the over. Even at an 8, I'd be looking at the over in this spot. And now that you're getting in some places where most of our folks are at circa plus 155, we'll be looking at the money line on the Reds, as I do feel like Green going out yesterday, that's giving you a little bit more value on the Reds. So plus 155 would be looking at that money line.
Greg, how about the Phillies and the Rays? You got Luzardo on the bump, 3-0, his ERA below 2 this year, and then Pepio going for the Rays. How would you handicap this game?
I'm looking at the under in this ordeal. With Pepio, he does have a little bit north of a 4 ERA. His strikeout stuff has been down this year, but you mentioned with Jesus Luzardo, this guy has been absolutely tremendous. He's getting north of 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's allowed 1 home run in 41 plus innings this year. And it's a Tampa Bay Rays team that is a bit better with their offense at home rather than away from home. But I think that when you're really going to see that ballpark effect, take effect because they no longer are they at the Trop this year. That Steinbrenner Stadium, because of everything that happened with the storms in the offseason, I think you're going to see that take hold a little bit more in June, a little bit more in July when it gets really hot and the ball is just absolutely flying. At this point of the year, I still think that it's obviously much more of a hitter's ballpark than the Trop ever was, but still, I think that it's a little bit more muted. I think that Luzardo going to be able to go out there, give you a nice start. And Pepiot, I think, is going to be able to find that swing and miss stuff once again. Right now, in terms of the money line, I would want this to go a little bit further down if I'm looking at the Phillies. I was looking at a little bit closer, about a minus 125. If I was willing to take a shot there, though, that plus 130 run line could be able to provide a little bit of value. But in terms of what we've seen out of Luzardo, absolutely tremendous. And keep in mind, Ray's bullpen, as always, very good. So that helps out with the under as well.
Greg, we'll get you out of here on this, and always a pleasure to have you on here on Thursday mornings. Maybe the featured series or even the featured game of the night will be the Dodgers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Right now, one of the favorites for the National League Cy Young, and Yoshi Yamamoto. He has been absolutely unreal overall this year, but has been particularly great on the road away from Chavez Ravine. He goes up against the youngster and Brandon Pfaadt tonight. This one, a total of, I believe, 8 and 8.5, depending on where you're looking at. Last game on the slate tonight, how do you see this one playing out?
I think that this total is one a little bit too low just because these offenses are so good. I'm right there with you on Yamamoto. In my opinion, if the voting was done today, obviously very early on during the season, I would vote for him for the Cy Young, but there's only up to go with a 0.90 ERA. It's really hard to lower it, and if he lowers it, hats off to him. But this is an Arizona Diamondbacks team that, keep in mind, they have scored the most runs in all of baseball since the beginning of the 2024 season with the Dodgers. You've got Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, all these guys just absolutely mashing in. For Brandon Pfaadt, he is prone to giving up the deep ball quite a bit with that Diamondbacks bullpen as well. Having A.J. Puck out of the fold, having a few other ancillary injuries like Kevin Ginkel and company have really hurt them as well. And for the Dodgers, they've been dealing quite a few bullpen injuries as well. And Yamamoto is not typically a guy that goes north of 5 innings. So I do look at the over. And with the Dodgers, I think that they slug their way to victory, looking at being able to get a plus money run line.
Buddy, great stuff for you. A couple of those games will definitely be featured, I should say, in our Daily Diamond coming up. Get some rest wherever you may find it, and we look forward to talking again next week.
Well, money doesn't sleep, neither does this man, but I always appreciate you guys. Thank you.
You bet. Anytime. Greg Peterson, the man here in the morning on the Progressive Guest Line. Give him a follow at @GUnit_81. He's not human, Keith. I told you. The guy is he's superhuman. He never sleeps. He's a machine. And some great bets. We will obviously revisit some of those games that he touched on here in our Daily Diamond coming up. When we return, the night on ice. Pretty crazy yet again if you're north of the border. If you're a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, life is good. What that means and where Florida is in that series, plus 2 dandies as well. The Hurricanes and Capitals, Oilers and VGK, all that and more when we come back on VSiN By The Books.
You're tuned in to VSiN By The Books right here on VSiN.
All right, thanks to Greg Peterson jumping on bright and early with us here on VSiN By The Books. Jensen Lewis, Keith Irizarry in for Dave Ross. Super Dave enjoying some vacation down at Virginia Beach. He'll be back on Monday as we get the band back together. I know he is chomping at the bit here, Keith, for the PGA Championship coming up. Truist Championship is underway. We'll update those scores for you golf fanatics as we move forward. Let's get to the night on ice yesterday, Keith, and then what we'll have coming up tonight. Again, if you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, you are nearly in heaven at this point. A 2-0 series lead. They have really fended off the Florida Panthers here in the first 2 games of this series. And it's been convincing the way that they've been able to do it. Equalizers in that first period, 1-1, and then Toronto taking the lead for good with a 2-goal second period. They would hold on there in the third period. So if you did play a goal to be scored by each team in every period, congratulations, you're a winner. That was a fun one to watch. But Mitch Marner gets the tie-breaking goal. And Joseph Woll, remember, that was a highlight for us yesterday. We did not have confirmation if Stellaris was going to be out in net for Toronto until a little bit later in the day. But Joseph Woll, Keith, was phenomenal in a backup spot, in a spot start, and Toronto now a commanding 2-0 series lead.
All right, so I think if we dive a little bit further into the numbers, though, there's reasons for Panthers fans to believe that Florida can come back. So Florida outshot the Leafs in the game last night. The Leafs blocked a crazy, 25 shots that they blocked yesterday as well. So I don't know if Toronto can play that brand of hockey and continue to win consistently. At some point, you feel like Florida's shots would slip through. Now, Wall was good, really good. And Stolarz may be back later in this series. So maybe everything I'm saying right now won't matter because Stolarz will come back and he's the lead goalie and everything will be fine. The other thing the Maple Leafs did really well yesterday that, again, I don't know if they'll be able to pull off for the totality of the series. They won 37 of the faceoffs, so that's almost 63% of the faceoffs, which meant they end up with extra puck control. I don't know, again, if that's going to keep happening. So let's see how Game 3 plays out. If Toronto has another game like that and they go up 3-0, sure, it's over. But if Florida can kind of finish off some of their multitude of shots, I think we're going to have a series.
Yeah, back in Sunrise tomorrow. That one's 7 o'clock, puck drop Eastern time. The series prices, for those of you listening on Series Channel 158, Panthers plus $1.90 to be able to come back in this series. Toronto now minus $2.30 on the series prop line. Right now, and we've talked about a lot of home dogs, throughout the first couple of games of these various series. That's not going to be the case. Florida minus 225 on the money line at home. Again, a total of 5.5 for that one. Again, 7-10 puck drop at BB&T Center at Sunrise, Florida. So Toronto, a 2-0 series lead. They hold home ice and will look to try to at least get one, if not try and go for the sweep if they can get the win in Game 3 tomorrow night. What we also saw was Game 1 of the Dallas and Winnipeg series, and really a lot of our handicap yesterday, Keith, was on the netminders. Jake Ottinger, Connor Hellebuck, the Jets at home hosting the Stars, but Mikko Rantanen, who single-handedly brought the Stars back from elimination in Game 7 against the Colorado Avalanche, was at it again. Not only was he at it again here, Keith, remember he had the hat trick to get Dallas through in the first round. He did it again in one period again for the Stars, and Dallas takes Game 1 in Winnipeg 3-2. Unbelievable performance from Mikko Rantanen in back-to-back games.
I'll give you even more electricity from Mr. Moose, from Mikko. He scored or assisted on 12 consecutive Stars goals. Like, that is just absolutely, like, they put a list up on the TV broadcast last night. Mario Lemieux was number 2 on there. There were some other big names as well. Actually, Brad Marchand's name was on there too. But when your name is at the top of a playoff list, you know you're doing something right. And again, I come back to this. I picked at the beginning of the season, I picked the Dallas Stars to win the Stanley Cup. At the beginning of this postseason, I picked the Dallas Stars to win the Stanley Cup. I was worried in the first round how things are going. I'm no longer worried. Stamp it, Stars. They're going to be hoisting Lord Stanley. It's over. We could just fast forward a month and a half. We're good.
For betting purposes, we'll make some money along the way. Dallas right now on
I know, I'm kidding.
Price.
I'm kidding.
I love it, though. And you're right. I mean, we had Rachel Dory on early in the week. She had the exact to even with the Panthers winning the East, the Stars winning the West. And right now, just after that Game 1 victory, Stars now minus $3.60 on the series line. The Jets plus $2.90 on the comeback. Game 2 of that series for Dallas and Winnipeg will be tomorrow, 9:40 p.m. Eastern time. The Jets, a slight favorite at home, minus $1.18. The Stars on the comeback, minus $1.02. Again, that total of 5.5. Hey, if you want to be able to get in some money and really be able to do it in a great way with some of the best odds and some of the best leverage, Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all your gambling transactions are approved. There's no usage fees, no minimums. Earn some cashback rewards along the way. 100% approval. That's the thing. 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today, edgeboost.bet with the promo code BOOK. Deposit $25 and Edge Boost will match that deposit. Again, that's edgeboost.bet. Okay, so that's what we have in the ice on the ice last night. Tonight here, Keith, we've got Carolina and Washington Edmonton and VGK. In Carolina, with the overtime win in game one, will look to try and take both games here against the Capitals with Washington on home ice. As we sit here and kind of look at it, I went right back to the well. I have a play in pocket on the Hurricanes on the puck line about plus, what I get it at, plus $1.85, plus $1.90. I did get it at plus $1.90, so you can see at Circa, also the same price there as it is on DraftKings. I think they, and we kind of talked about it after game one, you mentioned how Dallas just kept the onslaught of shots, and then also with Florida as well. So many block shots from Carolina by Washington that didn't even get on net. Imagine if just a handful or even half those get through. I do think they keep up the pressure tonight, and I think they take game two as well.
I just think Carolina is actually the better team. And I know that sounds weird because Washington won more games this year, but if you go by expected numbers and a lot like, so we were conditioned to learn about, WAR and all of these analytical baseball terminology, right? Over the last couple of years at NHL Network, I've learned a lot more about the expected numbers in the NHL. So I crunched some of them for you. So the Hurricanes, the expected goals for in 60 minutes, they outrank the Washington Capitals. Expected goals against per 60 minutes again, they were better than the Capitals. And expected goals percentage as well during the regular season, they were better than the Capitals, right? And then you kind of just look at the makeup of these two teams. If you want to go eye test also, everyone's eye test a little bit different. It just looks like Carolina's a little bit better right now. It looks like they're a little bit more prepared. Again, it was one game. I know we're going forward, but in the grand scheme of things, for the whole regular season, the expected numbers were better than for the Canes than the Capitals, which is where you can kind of dive in a little bit. Also, by the way, the Hurricanes are 5-1 this postseason, so they haven't one loss. They're looking great.
Yeah, they are. And again, minus $1.35, road favorite there. Carolina is. Capitals, another home dog, plus $1.14. That total is 5.5, juice to the over at minus $1.18
I like the under.
as well.
I like the under.
Like the under. Okay. I would like it 3-1. That makes everyone happy. That means my puck line hits. That means your under hits. Bing, bang, boom. We're a winner there. You're talking about egregious series prices, perhaps, and maybe where a lot of the market is at. That Carolina series price, almost $4 favorite. Pretty remarkable. And even on the backdrop, and it's a great point, Keith, Caps most points in the regular season. Yet again, a 3-1 dog here to be able to come back in this series. The one that we had a lot of firepower anticipated for, and we got at least some of that as VGK out 2-0 in that first period, but then Edmonton's offense scores 4 unanswered. They take game 1, 4-2. Game 2 tonight, 9:30 Eastern time. T-Mobile, the spot there as Vegas will look to get the series equalizer. Size up this one for me as you see it here for game 2.
My brain tells me that the Golden Knights should even this up. They're on home ice. They're obviously a very good team. I like the Oilers tonight. I think McDavid's going to find the back of the net. Didn't score in the first game. Had the 2 helpers. Draisaitl had a goal. It's what he does. I think Edmonton wins. So I missed on our screen what the price was on this one. But I would take Edmonton.
Yeah, Edmonton
plus
right now, plus $1.14 on the road. Yep.
Yeah.
VGK minus $1.35 at home. I did jump on VGK puck. I'm a sucker for puck lines, dude. When we talk to Jonathan Davis, he'll tell you. I love, and now he's got a great way for people. And if you like Edmonton, we usually root for 2-goal victories either way. If you play the reverse puck line, as JD has advocated for on Edmonton, very nice and handsome payout that way. And also the same way coming back there if you like VGK to even this up and win by 2 or more. 2-0, that is the number in NBA series right now for round 2. How did we get there? We'll recap that. Plus, we'll give you the update on Steph Curry. How long will he be out for the Warriors when you come back on VSiN By The Books?
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
to VSiN By The Books, right here on VSiN.
Thursday edition of VSiN By The Books rolls on. Jensen Lewis alongside Keith Irizarry. Dave Ross back with us next week in his customary post. Buddy, I mentioned 2-0 is the name of the game here in the NBA. And yet again, another shocker last night for people just joining us. The Knicks pull off the improbable after being down yet again another 20 points. And the Celtics making history as the first team in playoff history to lose back-to-back games in which they led in the postseason by 20 or more points. We assessed it a bit as to where, this series is. And I still think the thing that is jumping out the most is the series price, where the Celtics are favored at minus $1.20 to come back from this 0-2 deficit. The Knicks at even money across the board. Let's look ahead to Saturday real quickly. The Knicks 5-point dogs at home in Madison Square Garden, total of 205, I should say. How about the 3:35 tip time? You would believe a Saturday night at MSG here, Keith? Featured matchup? I think we got a swing and a miss on the NBA in the scheduling department here.
Yeah, I don't like the time either. I noticed that when I saw the schedule I'm like, that's odd. I actually double checked it to make sure it was correct. So 3:35 is weird. I mean, listen, the fans are still going to be out there, and I think that NBA fans will still watch. But a 3:35 Eastern, it's odd. I didn't love it. I'd rather
very weird.
Give me a nice 7:07 start would have been nice.
Yeah. Exactly. 7:10, late arriving crowd there getting through the traffic to get to the world's most famous arena. But the Celtics will look to try and get on the board in this series as the Knicks go up 2-0. Also an equalizer in the Thunder and Nuggets series, and it wasn't really close. The Thunder win going away 149-106. The total of 229.5 never in doubt. The spread of 11 finally never in doubt here, Keith. A double-digit spread gets across the line for the favorite, and the Thunder now all knotted with the Nuggets at 1 apiece. They will get their Game 3 in the Mile High City tomorrow. 10:05 Eastern is when that game tips off at Ball Arena. The Thunder, a 4.5-point road favorite. I don't think we're very shocked about that whatsoever. The total 233.5. Your initial thoughts looking at how Game 2 transpired. I mean, the Thunder setting a playoff record, or at least tying a playoff record, most points in a first half, 87 of them, and really never took their foot off the gas. Convincing victory. What do you take more from? Thunder getting back up off the mat, or this is kind of what we expected from the Nuggets to be able to get back home? They did what they had to do in at least getting a series split.
Well, it's the second time the Thunder this postseason have beat a team by this large of a number, by 40 or more points. The OKC Thunder were the best team all year long in the NBA for a reason. They've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's going to win the league MVP. They got a bunch of young players. They brought in some vets, blah, 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 blah. My take on this is the Thunder did what they're supposed to do, right? They struggled in Game 1 against a veteran Denver Nuggets team that's won a championship, that's been there, that's smelled it, that's tasted it. The Thunder have not. The Thunder took their lumps. Now they punched back in game number 2. I think they win game number 3. Honestly, I think at this point, you're looking at potentially 4 consecutive wins by the Thunder. They just are better than the Nuggets. Now, I don't want that to sound like I'm talking head guy sitting here like not understanding that the Denver Nuggets have a championship medal, and understanding that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world, and understanding that Jamal Murray, I sometimes call him Himal Murray because he is him in the postseason. With all of that being said, I just think the Thunder are better. So I think they'll win this series in 5 or 6. It's how I felt coming in. Nothing changed from Denver winning game number 1.
Thunder minus 450 on the series price. Nuggets on the comeback plus 350. And again, that spread right now, Thunder a 4.5-point road favorite, total of 233.5 when game 3 tips off tomorrow night. We do have one game tonight, one game only.
Hey, Jensen,
is game 2. Yes.
Jensen. Come on, my man. Like, I give you a pearl. I say Himal instead of Jamal. off the play of him, and you give me zero response? Like, on our visual, I saw you smile, and you had a script in your head. You're like, I know I'm going to the next thing. I'm not even going to give Keith any flowers on this one. Tell me how creative I am. Ready, set, go.
That's well done. And I have little PTSD from putting on social media that Kenny Atkinson is him or the truth. And then all of a sudden the collapse in the fourth quarter. But you are right. The 40-plus point performances from Himal Murray is definitely worth remembering. Well done. Well done, my friend.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I'm glad I didn't have to ask you to say it.
Exactly. Who is going to be him, though, for the Golden State Warriors? Because we do have official news now. Steph Curry will not be available tonight in Game 2 and for at least a week. That the diagnosis for the hamstring injury. And it may be to the Warriors' benefit that in between Game 2 and Game 3, there is a substantial amount of rest time, 4 days, in fact, before they will play Game 3. But indeed, this is a point of inflection now where the Timberwolves obviously do not want to go down in this series 0-2, and knowing that it's no Steph Curry for at least Game 2, we would expect Game 3. But right now, Timberwolves 10.5-point favorite against the Warriors. Tip time 8:35 for the Target Center tonight. Total of 201. I did jump on the Timberwolves already, minus that 10.5. I do think they rebound in a big way. Felt like, Keith, they were pretty lackadaisical, not ready to play in that first quarter. Heck, that first half, Anthony Edwards non-existent in the scoring department for most of that first half. Your thoughts now on where Golden State pivots here without Steph Curry? Is it Buddy Hield? Is Jimmy Buckets going to have to assume a bit more of the ownership there in the offensive department? How do you believe Steve Kerr game plans to try and get offense without Steph?
Well, you gave me the opportunity, and I will throw it right back at you. It's got to be Himmy Butler, right? See, if we're going to do the him thing, Himmy Butler. So one of my favorite plays today, Anthony Edwards over 6.5 first quarter points. It's something he averaged 7.7 first quarter points in 79 regular season games. You had Finch talk about how certain players, and he leaned in on Edwards, needs to be a leader, needs to have it going from the beginning. I think Anthony Edwards is going to come out and really want to put his imprint on this game in game number 2 and really on the series in general. As for the Golden State Warriors, Jimmy Butler is going to have to turn back the clock and be the guy that dragged the Miami Heat to a championship, battle, right? Buddy Hield is good, but he has been very inconsistent throughout his career. He's a solid shooter when he's on, one of the best in the world. I don't know if you can trust him. Draymond Green, I'm not expecting another 4 3-pointers for him. So can Jimmy Butler put a cape on? Can he carry them? My guess is no. I think the right side would be to go with the Timberwolves like you did, and I truly do believe. I think this is going to be one of those. If the Timberwolves get up by a lot, maybe Anthony Edwards doesn't end up with 40 because maybe he doesn't need to towards the end of it. But I think he has an excellent first quarter and an excellent first half.
Yeah, sense of urgency. I agree with you. I think we could see a very similar script from what we just watched with the Thunder last night. And Steve Kerr, if there is anyone that is just quintessential at punting early in playoff games, Steve Kerr could teach a masterclass on it, perhaps next to you at Hofstra, as you do such great work there as well. 35% of the bets, by the way, 86% of the handle on that Timberwolves spread of 10.5. And again, if you want access to those great betting splits, we obviously use them every day here on VSiN By The Books. Jump on VSiN.com because right now, a boatload of great content for you. Tyler Shoemaker's WNBA team previews and win totals are up now. Greg Peterson, as we had on earlier in the show, his MLB picks, and the Advent Health 400 NASCAR for you racing fans out there. That preview, along with Steve Makinen's simulation results, you can get all those with your VSiN Pro access. So VSiN.com/subscribe. The annual subscription, we give you 2 free extra months now for the price of $199 when you use the promo code PRO. Make sure you get on VSiN.com/subscribe and use the promo code PRO to sign up there today. As we look at these NBA series, 30,000-foot view, Keith, we obviously have Cavaliers-Pacers Game 3 tomorrow. It goes without saying, must win here for the Cavaliers. You mentioned it yesterday. We'll wait and see if there's any news that breaks during our show about the availability, perhaps, if we get that, of a Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley, a DeAndre Hunter. Worst case scenario, can the Cavs win Game 3 on the road if they're without all three of those guys yet again?
No, I don't want to. And Paul Pierce got himself in some trouble, right? Like, making guarantees and saying about walking 18 miles and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not going to be that guy, because anytime professionals are out there, anyone can win. My gut would be that if you can't win when Donovan Mitchell goes for 48 points and 9 assists, you're not going to pull it off a second time around. I mean, unless Donovan goes for 60, you know what? You're saying there's a chance. Maybe 60 for Donovan Mitchell.
Cavs opened as a 1.5 favorite, up to 229.5 the total for that Game 3 tomorrow night. Highlights and headlines to get you all caught up on everything that happened yesterday, what we have coming up today, and how about the Wonderwall north of the border? Tell you what that means. We come back on VSiN By The Books.